Some of these owners were out here on Lake Street all night to protect their properties, walking around the parking lots, trying to intimidate looters to just keep walking and leave their properties alone. One woman, an elderly woman, was out here actually yelling at looters all through the night. The owner of Sonora Grill spent the night in his parking lot. He says he confronted a few looters, but so far his business has been left untouched. But a few of his neighbors weren't as lucky. He could only sit and watch as looters broke into the body shop down the street.
And they stole 4 cars out of the shop. One of the neighbors who's been walking up and down the street, she came over and told me that they used one of the cars to ram it onto TCF.
Some of these business owners have even resorted to carrying guns to try to intimidate these looters and scare them away. Minneapolis police last night told us that they're discouraging this because the castle doctrines in this state do protect you when it comes to protecting your home, but they don't have the same protections when it comes to protecting your business.